tuned in to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. What's up, St. Louis? We are back. We're on our third episode, y'all. Welcome back to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. And I appreciate everybody that has been tuning in the first 2 weeks. Now the third week. It's all about consistency. Today we got a very special guest today. A very, very special guest. I'll get right into that in a little bit. But I want to remind you all that if you want to catch up on all of the latest episodes of the Politics Podcast, you can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Podbean. You can check us out on Twitter, Pandora, Amazon Music, and also Spotify. So we out here, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And, the whole goal of the Politics Podcast is to merge cultures together. And, one thing I wanted to highlight not only elected officials in the community that are doing things that don't necessarily get their shine all the time, but I also wanted to highlight folks that are in the community doing great things that don't necessarily get highlighted, but they're doing some phenomenal things. And so this platform was created for that specifically. And I'm very excited that I was afforded the opportunity to start this. It was something that I've just been thinking about all the time, but I said, I'm just going to do it. And here we are. I'm doing it. But yeah, back to our special guest for today, y'all. We have someone who is not your traditional type of cat, Am I going down the right path?
Keep going, man. Keep going, bro. Keep going.
So I met this brother in 1998. I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and good friend of mine went to school at Lincoln University, pledged the fraternity. And that's all he kind of talked about, and so that's all I heard about. I was very curious about this fraternity and Lincoln University. And so a good friend of mine, Pastor Derek Perkins, DP, he took me up to Jeff City one weekend. It was Alpha Week. And, we drove down Highway 70 and we pulled up on the Lincoln University's campus, drove around a little bit, and then we pulled up to this apartment complex. It was nighttime. So I want to say it was probably 8 o'clock. And we were supposed to go to a party. I remember like it was yesterday. It was snowing. But we pull up to this apartment complex, man, and, I see all these cars outside, and, we walk up the steps. And we walk into apartment A, the first apartment to the right, 808 East Elm Street. Baby chocolate is what they call it. Yes. We knock on the door, and I'm greeted by this tall, dark brother that looked like he from Egypt. And I'm like, man, who is this dude? Had a nice little swagger. I walked into the apartment. I'm like, man, this is a nice apartment. Now, mind you, this is public housing. Yeah. But, I walk into this apartment. I see all this Egyptian stuff and all this alpha stuff all over. And I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. And then I see all these brothers in here talking, having a good time, getting excited about the party. And I get introduced to this brother named Ron Jones. And he was so cool, Ron treated me as if he already knew me, and so at the time, like I said, we was up there kicking. It was Alpha Week. Went to the party, had a good time, came back. In college, man, the night ain't over when the party over.
No.
So everybody made their way to where they was going, and I'm looking like, man, I'm in high school. I ain't got nowhere to go. And Ryan was like, oh, man, you can stay at my place. And I was like, dang, I could like just stay in your whole apartment? He was like, yeah, you can stay here. Threw me the keys. I even think he had something to drink in the refrigerator. and so, from there was the start of a long friendship and brotherhood. I eventually, once I graduated from high school, I eventually became a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Started my high school. I started my college career at another college, and then I transferred to Lincoln University. Mm-hmm. And that same apartment that I went in when I was in high school a few years ago, Ron Jones actually gave me his apartment. Mm-hmm. He was like, brother, I'm moving out. I can get you put on a lease. Mm-hmm. Bam. So I had me an apartment. And, me and Ron been rocking ever since, man. Ron is one of them brothers who's knowledgeable about a lot of things. He's very loyal. If Ron is down with you, he gonna be down for you. And that's one thing I've taken a liking to. And me and Ron have a lot of things in common. We think alike about a lot of things, but we think different on a lot of things as well. And this brother has accomplished a lot. And I've really been kind of encouraging him to kind of get out of his shell. Because, it's hard for some people to talk about themselves and their accomplishments. But Ron has really broken out of that shell. He's found his purpose in life. He's lived life and he's lived it hard. But now he's actually found purpose in life. And so this brother is going to talk to us today about that purpose, what he has discovered, where he's going in life. And so, I want everybody out there to give a warm round of applause wherever you at and welcome my brother, my friend, Ronald Jones. We call him the hip hop gardener. And we gonna get into how he got that name. And he's a business owner and just a positive male in our community. So brother Ron Jones, man, welcome to the show, man.
Oh man, brother, thank you, man. I humbly appreciate that intro, man. I was trying my best to keep him smiling, man, but a lot of this stuff, brother, I had forgot about, man. But I was just trying to be a good brother, man. And you came in town, and DP co-signed you and said that you was a good guy. And so, when Brother Derek Perkins said you was a good guy, man, I just opened my house up to you, man, and he wasn't lying, man. Over the years, I got to know you to be not only a good guy, but a good steward for the community. You're a great father, man. You're a great husband, man. So, I look at myself like I got lucky, man, to really have a good friend like you, brother.
Oh, man, that's very humbling, man. I appreciate that, Ryan, man. So Ryan, man, kind of tell our listening audience, man, about Ryan, man. If you could sum up Ryan Jones in 2 minutes.
Oh, my God.
That's a task right there, man. But if you could sum up Ryan Jones, man, talk about where you were and where you are now, Brother Jones.
Okay, well, I was born in South City, really, man, but my mom, she moved us to Walnut Park in North City when I was like about 5.5 years old. And, went to Walnut Park Elementary, and I'm the youngest. Well, I have 3 older siblings, and then I have a younger sister, so she's younger than me, named Tish. And Moses, Stephanie, Tracy, me, and Tish. We stayed in Walnut Park, man, until I was like about 12. And then we moved down to Hyde Park, so moved further, a little bit further downtown, man. And, just growing up in North City, man, you see a lot, but the thing about it is, I was a part of DSEC program, like a lot of, inner city black students. So I went to the Parker North School District. I never knew I was poor until I went to the 6th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, I never knew I was poor, man. So, came from humble beginnings, man, single parent household, man, and just went through a lot, found my way going to college, went to Lincoln University, and of course, brother, that's where I met you at. And then, I didn't finish at Lincoln University, man. Did some years at Lincoln University, kind of got off track, came back to St. Louis, got married, had children. Mm-hmm. And then, later on in life, man, found myself back in school. Mm-hmm. And I just recently, man, graduated from UMSL, man, in December 2020, man.
That's dope, man.
So to all your listeners out there, man, it's not really how you start the race. It's all about how you finish.
It's how you finish, man.
Yeah.
Man, that's what's up, man. And, those are the type of stories, man, that need to be told. Mm-hmm. We hear a lot of negative things in our community, but we don't hear the positives that come out of a lot of these negatives, man.
Right.
And I'm really proud of you, brother, for staying the course, being resilient, beating the odds.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And really, being an example for your sons, man. That's an important thing, man. When we have sons, man, it's one thing when you have sons, man, like it's almost like, man, we have to walk a line of perfection, man, so they can see they first hero, man,
right,
doing things the right way, and I think you've done a very good job at teaching them lessons throughout your life lessons, man, right. And so, we're going to kind of get into the conversation that I want to introduce to my listening audience, man. Okay. It's very unusual. It's very rare to find a black man who is not only interested in a certain thing, but a master at that craft. And I can call you a master at this craft called gardening, man, because from my understanding, man, you are recognized as a master gardener. Am I right?
That's true. That's true.
So how did you become a master gardener?
Well, the Botanical Garden of St. Louis, if anybody has been to South City in the Tower Grove area, there's a botanical garden there. And it's one of the best botanical gardens in the United States. They've been doing this master program for a minute now. I think they started doing it in the 80s. And I have been trying to get into this master gardener program for like the last 3 years.
Wow.
And they open up around late November, but in 3 days the class closes because it fills up that quick. And I just, this last attempt, man, I just really got into the Master Gardener program. And for any listener out there that wants to be a Master Gardener, the St. Louis Botanical Garden has a great program. It opens up in November, but I want you to jump on it as soon as you can. And the program, it goes for a whole year. And you learn about native plants, trees. I mean, you learn so much. And you learn all the Latin names of all the plants.
Oh, okay.
Because the Latin names are universal across the world. A lot of, what we might call a plant in St. Louis, they might call it something different in Kansas City. But the Latin names are universal across the world. So you'll learn all the Latin names, and it's not an easy program, but it's very rewarding at the end.
Wow, man. And see, these are the types of things that, we don't, as the black community, we don't really know about. Like, I never knew about becoming a master gardener until you started talking to me about it.
Right.
So how does one get that information, man? Where is that information at, man, for people to even know about this program?
Well, I was privileged to get the information because in 2018, I participated in a fellowship called Neighborhood Leadership Fellows.
Okay.
Which was sponsored through UM Extensions, and UM stands for the University of Missouri Extensions. Once I was on that email list from the University of Missouri Extensions, it's a lot of things that's funneled through that pipeline, and I heard about that the Master Gardener program through an email list, and so I started inquiring about it.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got into the program, I mean, I met some amazing gardeners, man, just across the city of St. Louis, and I met so many phenomenal people just through the extension pipeline itself.
So that's a big example of what I kind of talked about last week and the week before with the two mayors I had on. Mm-hmm. The power of networking.
Yes.
The power of stepping out of your element mm-hmm. and meeting new people and doing new things and building relationships, man.
Right.
Because without you having a network outside of the norm, mm-hmm. You were privy to information that you probably wouldn't be privy to if you stay stuck in a box of people that you just always around.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And so I think that's a very good thing that you do, and a very good thing that people do, period, man. You mm-hmm. know, you have to network. Like, information don't find you.
Right.
You got to go seek out the information, and the broader your network is, the more that you're exposed to.
That's true.
You know? And that's a good thing, man. So when did you, let me ask you this, man. So when did you really discover your green thumb? Like what got you into gardening?
Well, growing up in Walnut Park in the early 80s, a lot of our older residents who lived down towards the end of my block, they had fruit trees in their yard.
Mm-hmm.
And one day we were, this was like towards the end of the summer, we was coming from a block over. I think we were around and playing this game called corkball.
Okay, I remember court.
So it was playing corkball, and we took a shortcut through the alley to get back to my street on Oreo.
Right.
As we were coming through the alley, we noticed that a lot of the apple trees and pear trees were blooming at the time, and towards the end of the summer, man, those fruits are ready to pick.
Yeah.
And there were some branches that was, hanging over in the alley.
Mm-hmm.
And, we helped ourselves to a couple of fruit.
Okay.
We helped ourselves to a couple of fruit, and, it was just amazing. So what happened was, we wanted some more fruit. So I took it upon myself to go and knock on some of these doors of these older residents.
Mm-hmm.
I was very polite. I was young. I was charming.
Right.
Knocked on the door, let them know my name, and, asked them if I can have some of the fruits. And the thing about it, man, a lot of the older residents were kind of mean.
Mm-hmm.
They was like, no, we're going to use them fruits. But when we would walk through the alley, a lot of the fruit be on the ground. And so, I just said to myself, I was about 10 years old, man. I said to myself, you know what? One day I'm going to have my own fruit trees.
Mm-hmm.
And if some kids ever knock on my door,
you're going to give it to them.
Yeah. So, that was the seed that was planted in Walnut Park. I just didn't know that seed was going to sprout later in life.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool, man. And since you discovered that green thumb, mm-hmm. as you got older, you kind of took it to the next level, man. So kind of tell us how you started your garden that you have now, because I recently read that your garden was featured in a book. Yeah. What book was that?
It was a book by Crystal Stevens.
Okay.
It was Grow, Create, Inspire by Crystal Stevens, mm-hmm. and she was I had a garden tour back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And Crystal Stevens came to the garden tour.
Okay.
And she asked if she can take pictures. It was my first time letting people inside my garden into my own little world.
Mm-hmm.
And, she kept snapping pictures the entire day. And later she reached out to me on my Instagram and said, hey, Ronald, I'm writing a book, and I want to know if I can put some of your photos in my book. And I told her, yeah, I had no problem, just as long as she promised to give me a book. And Crystal Stevens, she kept her word, and mm-hmm. she gave me a book, and I'm on page 92 in the book. You see my garden.
Oh, that's dope, man. Yeah. And so alongside with your garden being featured in a book, mm-hmm. you also was featured in the New York Times, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of talk about that.
Back in October of 2020, a lady by the name of Rachel Wharton, she's a New York Times food critic.
Mm-hmm.
she reached out to me on my Instagram page because she was looking for local people who grow this native fruit tree that's native to the Americas called the pawpaw.
A pawpaw tree.
Pawpaw. And she was just looking for regular people who grew them in their backyard.
Okay.
She came across my Instagram page and she really liked what she saw. She noticed that I grew pawpaw and I'm located in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And when she reached out to me, I was like, there's no way that someone from the New York Times is looking for me located in St. Louis and North City. It just
wasn't real to you.
It just wasn't real to me. And so 2 days later, she reached out to me again and she said, "Hey, Ronald, this is serious." She left her number and she said, "My name is Rachel Ward and I'm a food critic from the New York Times. You can Google me."
Uh-huh.
And so, I decided to Google her and it was true.
Wow. Yeah, we as people, but especially Black people, we are very skeptical of everything, especially with stuff on the internet now, man.
Right.
Everybody all this scam and all this stuff going on. But it's power in the internet too, because the internet affords us the opportunity to put something out to the world like that, and somebody all the way over there can contact you that has a huge following to share what you're doing here in St. Louis to the world, man. That's had you not answered that message, who knows? Right. And so you were featured in a book. You were quoted in the New York Times.
Right.
By now, you've started Blackberry Landscaping. We're going to get to Blackberry Landscaping in a minute.
Okay.
You started Blackberry Landscaping, but then you was recognized in the state of Missouri by the governor,
right, with
an award. It's
the City of St. Louis Urban Gardening Award.
Urban Gardening Award. Yeah. So kind of talk about that and how that came about.
So what happened was, like I told you, I had a garden tour back in 2018, and a lot of people, I think that entire day, maybe about 100 people came in and out the garden. Someone on that garden tour nominated my yard.
Oh, wow.
To this day, I have no idea
of who it was.
I have no idea who it was. They nominated my garden for the City of St. Louis Urban Garden of the Year. And what happened was, this was back in 2020. So I was supposed to get an award at the Missouri State Fair last year in August of 2020.
Okay.
But the pandemic hit, and so they postponed it until this year. So I'll be getting an award at the Missouri State Fair this year.
Oh, big ups, man. Yeah. Big ups, man. No right on, man. No and so those types of recognitions, man, opens up other doors for you and what it is that you're doing. And so you started Blackberry Landscaping. And from my understanding, Blackberry Landscaping isn't your typical landscaping company. There's a educational component to Blackberry Landscaping. And I'm thinking one of your main focuses of Blackberry Landscaping is the educational component,
right?
And I know, we gave you an opportunity here at Beyond Housing to teach children about gardening, and they built a butterfly garden out front, beautiful butterfly garden out front, and then they also built a herb garden in the back, and then they also grew like some tomatoes or something like that. Kind of talk about that experience. Working with those children.
Well, fortunately, man, I'm grateful to have great friends like yourself, Terry, and it's called the HIP program, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Healthy Internship Program.
Healthy Internship Program. So a few years ago, Beyond Housing, Terry reached out to me and said, "Hey, we need an activity for the kids, and can you teach them gardening?" I said, "You know what? I can do something better. I can teach them how to build a pollinator garden." And for all the listeners that don't know, a pollinator garden is a garden that attracts bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Okay, so we did that garden up front, and then in the back by the playground, we created a vegetable and herb garden for the students. So basically, I gave them the basic know-how of how to set a garden up, make sure that the soil is right, because you can't have healthy plants without healthy soil. So I gave them how to propagate the soil and make the soil healthy, how to properly plant a plant, and also how to put a ground cover over, which what we call mulch.
So the soil is what helps the plants grow, right?
That's correct.
So, that's a real good analogy, though, man. Mm-hmm. If you don't have healthy soil, you can't have a healthy plant.
There you go.
And so if you don't have healthy soil in your body, you can't be a healthy human.
Well, I don't know if you have soil in the body, but I'm definitely, picking up what you're trying to throw down.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. But yeah, that was, the kids really, really, enjoyed you, man, because you came from a different avenue. Like, and that's one thing I like about you, brother. Mm-hmm. Like when you're teaching these kids, you relatable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You make it cool. Mm-hmm. Like, when the kids first heard that they was going to be doing gardening, they was like, Right. But then it's like, when Ryan showed up, it's like you just give so much flavor, brother, to what it is that you're doing, man. You make it cool. So your whole persona on social media is the hip hop gardener.
Right.
And so now, was that your angle? Was your angle to make gardening cool and look cool?
Well, yeah, because one of my first passions growing up, was DJing.
Okay.
So I've always been a huge hip hop head, man. I've always liked all the old school music. So I said, you know what? Why don't I just combine the two? Mm-hmm. When I'm gardening, I like to play hip hop music when I'm gardening. And so that was my connection with the students. If I want to get young people in tune with gardening, then guess what? Let's just kind of play the music that they like to hear while we're gardening.
Yeah.
And it just makes it, music always makes things better, man. So and it's been working for me, man. The kids enjoy it. I show the kids what to do the first time.
Right.
And then I just let them do it.
Wow.
And we're out there playing music. We having a good time. And before you look up, man, we'd have been out there for about 3 hours.
Man, so how important is it for organizations and youth programs and schools to expose their kids to gardening, man?
You know what? Maslow's hierarchy needs. Mm-hmm. So everybody needs to understand food, water, and shelter.
Right.
Those are the basic needs that everybody needs to understand. And, my grandmother's generation, they all knew how to garden. So when I saw growing up, I saw old people gardening. I was like, man, I thought that's where fruits and vegetables came from, out the backyard.
Right.
So now this generation, that's kind of like a lost art.
Yeah.
A lot of things that we eat in grocery stores that we pay a lot of money for, man, we can grow that stuff in our backyard. Tomatoes and cabbage and, fruits and different fruits and vegetables. We can grow all that stuff in our backyard, man. So
right.
It's important. I think it's important for the school system to adopt it because, believe it or not, man, gardening is very therapeutic. Mm-hmm. It keeps you calm and things like that. And a lot of our students, man, suffering from ADD and all that kind of stuff, man. They need to get out the classroom and get outside in the sun, man, and with the breeze blowing on you, man, and and garden, man. That'll take a lot of stress off teachers.
Get in tune with the earth.
You're right, man. They say when you take your shoes off, man, it's called earthing.
It's called earthing.
Yeah, earthing, man. Calms you down, man. Keep you calm, man.
Man, hey, we're gonna take a quick break, man.
Okay.
But if you just tuning in to the Politics Podcast, we meet with a special guest, Brother Ron Jones, the owner of Blackberry Landscaping, aka the Hip Hop Gardener. We'll be back shortly.
This is the Hip Hop Gardener from Blackberry Landscaping. And when I'm ever listening to an app of podcast shows, I'm listening to the hottest show in the Lou, the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics.
You better ask somebody.
Tuned in to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. We are back to the Politics Podcast. We got my boy Ron Jones in here, y'all.
Yes, sir.
He dropping some jewels about the pawpaw tree.
Oh, Yes, sir.
You know, soil, tomatoes, you know, basil, you know. He hooking us up,
right.
you know.
Right.
Shout out to Blackberry Landscaping. And if you're looking for if you're looking to support Blackberry Landscaping, my boy has some cold T-shirts that you can find on his Instagram page and on his Facebook page. Right. One thing I really like about Brother Ryan, man, he real good at marketing. You know what I'm saying? Ryan can sell water to a well. You know,
Talk that.
Ryan can sell water to a well, man. So we back. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Politics Podcast. We speaking to Brother Ron Jones, and you know we discussed Ryan's passion for gardening and how he turned that passion into an actual business. And not just a business, but a recognized business. You know, Ryan's Garden has been recognized in the New York Times, in the state of Missouri, all over social media. And brother, I'm very proud of what you've been able to accomplish, man. So let me ask you this, man. If you was to come across, you know, somebody that say they want to get into gardening, man, what would be your advice? What would be your advice to them that want to get into gardening?
Well, normally, you know, if you're a homeowner, you know, because sometimes when you stay in apartments, it's kind of hard to kind of, you know, structurally change things in the yard because you got to get the landlord's permission. But if you're a homeowner, I would tell everybody to start with 2 garden boxes back in the corner of your yard. They get some adequate sunlight, you know. Garden box, normally when I build the garden box, they're 6 feet long, 3 feet wide, 2 feet high. Okay. Looks like a nice rectangle. Yeah. Okay. And so, and people say, well, what do I grow? I say, well, you grow what you like to eat. You know, a lot of people I know like cauliflower. Yeah. Okay. So cauliflower is what they call a cool weather crop. Cool weather crop. So you can grow it in the spring, or you can grow it late fall. Okay. You know? And you make sure that, you know, you can go to Home Depot and Lowe's and get the little packets of seeds. The seeds about $1.98. $1.98. You put the seeds in the soil, some good soil, and you water it. That's all you do. And the cauliflower grows.
Man, you know, the good thing about learning how to garden, man, is it's beyond just flowers. Man, you can produce food, man, that you can actually eat. But not only eat, you could turn that into a business opportunity. You can monetize having a garden by selling the things out of your garden, man. Name some of the things that you have grown, you know, in your garden, man, in the past and currently.
Oh, man. I've grown cucumbers. One year I grew so many cucumbers, man. I had to just take them to work, man. Just hand them out.
Just give them away.
And people was loving them, man. Currently right now, I have a peach tree, 2 pawpaw trees, 2 cherry trees, a mulberry tree, a raspberry bush, a blackberry bush, and 3 types of grapevines and 3 fig trees.
Wow. And then one year, didn't you grow some watermelon or something?
Yes. One year I grew watermelon and family came over and took them all.
Wow.
It was good though, man. It was good.
Man, I got to get back over to your garden, man.
Of course, man.
You know, I was over there a few years ago before COVID hit, man.
Right.
And you know, I got to get back in there, man, because I mean, hey, when y'all go to this place, man, it's amazing, man. Yeah. It's right there in the hood too, y'all. Oh, yeah. Like he ain't out in no he ain't got no farm or nothing like that. Nah. He right in the hood, y'all. Oh, and one thing that blew my mind away was when your garden was on that tour that year. Right. What kind of talk about that tour, man, that people might not know about.
So there's a tour that some residents in South City host. It's called the Sustainable Garden Tour. Okay. And in 2017, I had went on the tour just to kind of see what everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I can do this. So that following year, 2018, I decided to be one of the hosts on the tour.
Okay.
And we were one of the only few gardens that was on the north side of St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So honestly, man, I didn't really think people was going to come tour my garden.
Yeah.
And that morning I was nervous. And I got up, me and my sons got up, and we had went to Einstein Bagel.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I kind of prayed about it a little bit. And when I pulled back up at home, because the tour started like at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So I pulled back up around about 8:50.
Yeah.
I had never seen that many cars on my street. I mean, people were lined up. They out there drinking coffee. And, I did a small prayer in the car and hopped out the car. And I was like, you all ready to see this garden? And the whole crowd was like, yeah. And, hey, man, the rest is history, man. I mean, people really take this garden thing serious, man.
That's dope, man. So, was you able to network with different people that came and see the garden and stuff like that?
I met so many gardeners from all walks of life throughout the city of St. Louis, man. And it just really solidified that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, man. So, yeah. That's
what's up, man. Mm-hmm. And so, kind of talk about, I know you mentioned something about joining a state board or something like that for gardens, and can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
So a lady by the name of Marsha, she saw my New York Times article, mm-hmm. and she reached out to me, and she was like, "Hey, Ronald, we're with the St. Louis chapter Wild Ones, and for those that don't know what Wild Ones is, it's a native plant society. They're located all across the United States." In St. Louis, we also have a chapter. So they really deal with native plants and trying to get native plants back into the landscapes. And, they wanted to see the garden because they read the article. Mm-hmm. And so, Marsha came over and they saw the garden, and we had probably about a 2-hour conversation just walking around my yard. And they invited me to have a seat on the board of the St. Louis chapter Wild Ones Native Plant Society.
Wow, man. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure mm-hmm. that you probably the first African-American male
yes,
to sit on that board.
Period. Yeah.
And man, gardening and things like that, man, this is something that you really have to love, man. Mm-hmm. Because you can't halfway garden. Mm-mm. You can't have, you either in it or you not. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And when you talk to this brother and you in the garden, because I've heard this brother have conversations with people, and he will break this thing down to you, man. You could tell he really, really enjoys what he does, and things like that, man. And so now with Blackberry Landscaping, man, you've recently been tapped to do a couple of community projects. Working some municipalities in the city of St. Louis. Right. Kind of talk about, man, your interaction as it relates to elected officials and just government, period, when it comes to putting gardens together and things like that, man.
Well, in the city of St. Louis, especially in North City, we have tons of vacant lots. Mm-hmm. And so right now, working with the St. Louis Vacancy Collaborative, people are trying to come up with innovative ways to transform these vacant lots into really beautiful spaces. So right now, we're working in North City over in the College Hill area. There's a place, if anyone has ever seen the White Water Tower, it's a big white water tower on Grand going towards Highway 70. Yeah. There's as soon as you make that turn around the water tower, right over to the right, there's an area called Peace Park.
Okay.
So right now, we're trying to transform Peace Park into a recognized city park in the city of St. Louis. So they're really transforming that area, right? They're really transforming that area, and they're going to bring in a lot of native plants. Right now, they have a bunch of fruit trees in the area. So for any resident that's visiting Peace Park, if you stroll by there late in July, in September and August, you can definitely go over there and pick fruits off the trees.
Wow.
They're open for residents.
Just open for residents. Yep. Wow, that's amazing, man. So kind of talk about, Ron, you You grew up in North St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Lincoln University, not really knowing what it is that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You took a liking to film.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you did a stint in Philadelphia for a little bit at the Art Institute, right?
Yeah.
Came back,
Mm-hmm.
took some more classes, worked a little bit, moved to St. Louis,
Right.
got married,
Right.
started a family,
Right.
worked little odd jobs here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, man, when did you finally say, you know what? This is what I want to do in life. And I kind of found my purpose, man.
Right.
When was that awakening?
Man, it's probably around after my divorce. You know, I just took a year off from like social media and going out and just trying to really figure out my purpose in life.
Right.
And my purpose in life was really getting back to gardening. So I really, really just went hard at it this time. But I said, you know what? I really want to put this on a larger scale, but I really didn't know how.
Right.
And so, like I said, in 2018, I joined the Neighborhood Leadership Fellows.
Okay.
And after joining the Neighborhood Leadership Fellows, you know, I met other people from different wards across the city of St. Louis that really wanted St. Louis to be a better place.
Yeah.
And that's when the idea of urban planning and development sparked in my brain.
Okay.
You know, and I said, well, you know what? I wonder if I could combine the two.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just been really working on trying to come up with an idea, because I know a lot of times, you know, developers go into an area that used to be a forest.
Right.
They knock down all the trees and then they put up these little cookie cutter houses, but there's no gardens in there.
Right.
You know, and gardens are very therapeutic to communities, man. A garden can bring a community together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Hey, that's dope, man. You know, I'm really proud of what you've been able to accomplish, man. Yeah. I'm proud. I'm proud that you just ain't gave up. No. You know, because you know your story has been told a bunch of times. Right. The beginning part of your story has been told a bunch of times, right? And ain't end up so well, right? You know what I'm saying? But you persevered, man. Yeah. Showed resilience, and you know. Now you are not only a testimony, but you know you are influence and motivation for other people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you didn't give up. No, you know you didn't give up, man. So real quick, man. Give me two people, man, that have been influential in your life, man, and kind of talk about how their influence affected you know, just how you move in life, man. You know? Okay,
well, two people, I would say that one of them is definitely my Uncle Gerald. Okay. Uncle Gerald, I had moved into his one of his apartments over in the 4th Ward, Jeff Vanderloo, and I'm proud. And, you know, one of the deals I asked him, you know, I don't mind moving over there, Uncle Gerald, but would you allow me to do a garden in the yard? Right. He's like, yeah, nephew, you know, I own it. You know, you do garden in the yard. I don't mind that. And he just had no idea I was going to turn all the grass out. Right. You know, and I know sometimes my uncle was like, what is my nephew back there doing? But, you know, if Uncle Gerald, if you ever hear this, I want to tell you, thank you so much, because you allowed me to practice my craft. And I'm doing good with it. So, second, Brother Terry Wilson, you, man, you know, You a young brother, man. You're a lot younger than me, man. But you was always a go getter, and you really opened my mind up to politics and how the game of politics kind of control everything in St. Louis. Absolutely. And you have to have knowledge of politics. So what I want to do with Blackberry Landscaping is I want to put it like this. I'm definitely going to go to school to get my master's in urban planning and development, but I want to bring a garden and native plant aspect back into development. Okay, you know, so it's just not people just putting up buildings, but we need to incorporate those green spaces. Absolutely. In inside this construction so people can have those therapeutic places because, man, it's just a lot of just craziness going on in St. Louis, man. We don't have no place to relax our minds.
Right.
You know?
That ties in with policy, man. And when you talk about development,
Right.
and changing your city code
There you go.
and making it mandatory, man, for when you put in a new development,
Right.
that you have to put in certain landscapes,
Right.
and native plants
Right, there you
to
go.
those areas, because
Yes.
I think MSD has gotten the law change in most areas. I think all areas, really.
Right.
If you do a new development somewhere, or if you do something to the ground,
Right.
you have to develop like a rain garden or something like that.
Right.
And so that's part of policy, man.
Okay.
And so when you understand how policy works, man, a lot of the things that we want to see done in our community starts with policy. And it's advocates like you that are from these neighborhoods,
Right.
that understand policy, but also understand the importance of landscaping and native plants and protecting the butterflies.
Right.
And because we got an endangered butterfly that I never knew about until you told me.
The monarch.
The
Yeah.
monarch, that's
Yeah.
right, the monarch.
Yeah.
And I never knew, I never knew nothing about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you
No doubt, man.
bringing that knowledge, man.
Right.
And so you got your garden, you got your business.
Right.
You want to go into urban development and planning.
Right.
You doing that right now.
Right.
You doing some things with the vacant. What's it called?
St. Louis Vacancy Collaborative.
St. Louis Vacancy Collaborative.
Yeah.
So you educating yourself around all these things and all your goals and stuff like that, man.
Right.
Man, name for me 3 things you hope to accomplish before you leave this earth, man.
Oh my God. Well,
3 things, just 3 things, man.
3 things. Okay. Definitely, I'm going to create a business district.
And you know what? Before you go on,
Okay, go ahead.
I like how you started that off. You didn't say I'm trying or I want to. You said I'm going to.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I like about you, man. Me and you, we talk a lot about speaking things to an existence, man. Believing in things, man. And it shows that you really, truly have that mindset just based off you talking, man. And I just want to point that out.
I appreciate that, brother. Like I said, I'm going to create a business district down Martin Luther King
Okay.
in North City. It's going to run from Cass all the way down to Kings Highway.
Okay.
That's one thing I'm going to do. And now inside that business district, I'm going to create green spaces for people to go sit there and just relax their mind, because we're Northside St. Louis. Northside St. Louis has been disinvested
For so long.
for decades.
Oh, my God.
Okay. And the third thing, I'm going to graduate from St. Louis University with my master's degree in urban planning and development.
Man.
So those are the 3 things I'm going to do before I leave this earth.
Man, that's huge, man. And shout out to Slew.
Yeah.
And shout out to my guy, Ryan. He just got accepted.
Yeah.
So he ain't saying it like he gonna apply to the program.
No.
My man is accepted and he gonna be starting in the fall. So man, let's make sure we uplift this brother.
Right.
Let's make sure we support him.
That's right.
Man, I appreciate you coming on the show today, man.
Of course, brother. Of course.
You brought a lot of knowledge, a lot of energy, man. We just appreciate you, man.
Right.
And so where can folks find you on social media?
Well, right now, I'm working on my website, but right now you can find me on Instagram
Okay.
at Blackberry_landscaping.
Okay.
Blackberry_landscaping.
Black-
And if you hit me up, if you DM me, I will definitely hit you back.
All right. Hold on. You tuned in to the Politics Podcast, your home for St. Louis politics. Well, folks, there you have it. Week 3 is in the books. Week 3 is in the books. Great show.
Yes.
We off to a good start. I know, Brother Ryan, this won't be your last time on the show.
I'll definitely be back.
We want you to come back, man, and let us know what you got going on. Share with us your progress. Man, you know, because you doing some amazing work out here, man. And like I said, you doing some things that are rare, man. It's rare that you have come on, y'all. How many black gardeners y'all know? I'm fortunate enough to have a friend who's a gardener, got his own landscaping company, not no grass cutting company. So when y'all look him up, don't be calling him asking, can he cut your grass? You know what I'm saying? If you connected to any type of community organization, educational institute, this brother does speaking engagements. I do. He does consultation for your garden. He can come teach your kids. He can come teach your students about gardening. He can help create community gardens. And so make sure y'all hit this brother up on Instagram, on Facebook. You got an email address?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Mr. MRRONN. So it's Mr. Ron L. Jones at gmail.com.
Mr. Ryan L. Jones at gmail.com.
There you go.
And there you have it. Hey, folks. That's all we got for today, man. If you want to catch up on the latest episodes of the Politics Podcast, man, you can always catch us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Podbean. You can catch us on Facebook and YouTube. All you have to do is look up the Politics Podcast. And I didn't misspell it. It's spelled that way for a reason. Because I'm so St. Louis. Ask my tattooist. But with that being said, man, we about to get up out of here. You can catch us 6 o'clock every Sunday on the Politics Podcast. We'll holler at you. We out this thing. Peace.